Welcome back everyone to the weekly RFOX AMA. CEO and co-founder Benny Fairbank's back in this week, and I'm the host, Lenny Clifford. How you doing, Benny?
Hi mate, I'm very well, thank you.
All right, well, let's get into it. The RFOX VALT minimal viable product launched several weeks ago now, and seeing it progress really well. We had Chief Product Officer Luke Fairbank on the AMA last week, and since we caught up, Benny, only 2 weeks ago, a lot has unfolded in the market. And to many, that capitulation that we all saw, it signaled the end of any hopes to enter a bull market this year. There's a lot of fear out there. It was a major setback in the progress and adoption and the trust that was built over the past run. Do you see a significant change in the market cycle now, and what's the opportunity for RFOX?
Yeah, I think that the whole Luna fiasco, I think that's something that you don't see every day in crypto, and it's a big one, isn't it? But obviously, we did see somewhat of a capitulation in the markets, and a lot of people are predicting that with the world events, that's a longer term cycle down now. As far as the breaking of the cycles or a bull market this year, it's anyone's guess, isn't it? None of us know. I think that the opportunity for RFOX is really around the fact that we've got a product out. There's a lot of projects now that will sort of back off on their building of their products and services. So us having stuff ready to drop and ready to click in gives us a massive opportunity to capitalize and to keep building and to keep adding users during a down market. So we've got to balance the whole being frugal and making sure that we're treating the bear with respect and that we're doing the right thing as far as saving money is concerned. But on the same token, we've got to make sure that we're clicking in those pieces that we've spent all this time building, and we're very fortunate that those things are now finished. So yeah, we've just got to balance those two things and we'll come out better and stronger on the other side.
Okay, and many crypto projects had some or all of their treasury in UST, and sadly that means the end for some, they can't pay their salaries. It's a really interesting situation, and looking at RFOX and the market now, how does RFOX get through this market? It could continue for a couple of years. How will RFOX pay the bills while its products are still in the early stages?
Yeah, I think different projects hold treasuries in different ways, and I'm sure a lot of people are impacted. We've spoken to some projects who are sort of looking for tips. They've never been through a market like this, so it's really important that we were born in a bear market, so it's extremely important to sort of manage your costs and to make sure that you're not spending on things that aren't going to provide a return. So when the sun shines, you move as fast as you can, you ramp up, you build big teams, and you try and get out products as fast as you can to market, because the great race is to sort of get away from the dependency on the token and to start having revenue coming in through the products and services you have. So we did that. So when the sun's not shining, what you've got to do is you've got to assess, and you've got to turn around and say, right, what do we need to produce? How do we keep going for the next couple of years? What revenue is the quickest that would come in? What products are going to provide that revenue? And you've got to treat it like a normal business. So ultimately you have to sit down in these particular periods of time and you've got to reassess everything. We sort of started to look at this about November last year and sat down and sort of said, what would a reorg look like? What would that new structure look like going forward? So this is something that we've had on our minds for a long time and have been working through in the backgrounds, just to make sure that we're prepared and that we're able to survive and sustain a winter.
Okay, and working towards generating revenue across the products in the RFOX ecosystem, there's a few major events coming up, like the final two land sales and also the new tokenomics with the apartments and the avatar and NFT sales. For anyone new to RFOX, can you explain what the new tokenomics model is and what that means for the ecosystem?
Yeah, we do have a pretty action-packed last part of the year. We've got as you say, we've got the land sales coming up, and we've also got avatars and apartments. What it basically means is that avatars will act as your identity in the virtual space that we're creating. Our avatars will differ from the other avatars that we'll allow in from Bored Apes or any other crypto project, in the sense that they'll be a governance NFT as well. So you'll have voting rights to determine what happens next in the quarter that you're from. So that's kind of exciting. But what we do is we take the secondary sales percentages and we pump those back through to rewards for our holders. So we're always trying to make sure that we've got a flourishing type of ecosystem where revenue that's coming in is dispersed back to the users. And that's really important from the perspective of making sure that we're not putting money in from our own pockets every time we want to do a staking pool or rewards pool. And again, that comes from the whole products out, revenue coming in, and therefore you do that more sustainably. So there was a lot of criticism with Luna with the 20% yield and all the rest of it. What we're trying to do is make sure that anything that we are yielding comes from the revenue coming in, and that's the only way you can do this sustainably. So yes, those products and services coming out will be very good for not only the users but for the ecosystem, and anyone holding those avatars or apartments will also get free access to future drops as well. So anything that we do as far as hoverboards or jetpacks or anything like that would work much the same way as some of the other projects have done it in the past, where if you're holding one of those, you would be eligible to whatever comes down the chain.
And what about opportunities for projects in the creator economy? We talked a little about this before in previous AMAs and how rapidly it's evolving and growing. This is a whole new economy here in Web3, and maybe people will start to realize soon just what RFOX is doing to be one of the first businesses to really cover the bases in the space. It's worth noting that the key parts of the formula for success in the creator economy is providing the tools, providing the environment and the platform, and the incentives for creators. More people will soon catch on to what RFOX is building and what the MVPs are working towards. Where do you think RFOX and its ecosystem will be when that next big wave of consumers and investors enter Web3?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The tools are vital. I think that we'll have tools sooner rather than later. So a big priority for us is to get the products out and then to get the tools out. And again, the RFOX platform is supposed to be a showcase for what you can do and what we've provided. It's a showroom. And then what we need to do as fast as we possibly can is to allow these tools to get into the creators' hands so that people can extend what we've offered, build, enhance what we've offered, and help us to expand that ecosystem. So that's a major priority for us. So when the next cycle does start, I'm sure we're already going to have many projects that have launched on our platform and are working with us to create better environments and tools and options for the users. So it's a key part of our plan and strategy, and it always has been.
Okay, now let's shift gear back to the Vault build. The new build release is coming soon and the feedback's really great. What's the behind the scenes day-to-day work being done to make this happen?
Yeah, so the day-to-day is basically trying to map out what we're building, where we're up to, sprint sessions, working through that with your Scrum Masters and making sure that the sprints are going ahead and that people are hitting their goals. And ultimately, we're working out how to patch in the other products that are dropping. Now, if there's a delay with that product or it's early, we need to make sure that we've tested it, that it can click in, what way it's going to click in, the design elements for example, for TV. How does that fit into the Vault? Where do we display it? How do we showcase it? So the day-to-day is very much on how to enhance what it is that we're building and how to introduce the other products that are dropping.
And what's the progress for this week? What are some of the physical changes that we can see?
Yeah, so this week it's more about new shop templates, getting closer to creator tools. And again, the templates that we provide are supposed to give people an example of what can be had and done for those who don't have huge skills in building. And then obviously the tools come on the back of that. So this week it's been more about finishing those avatars ready for release and spoil as soon as the MVP comes out, and trying to make sure that MVP code is clean and ready to go for the new build.
Okay, what are the final updates for the week, and any advice for people during these times? A lot of people have had a pretty rough couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's never easy, is it? And no matter what people say to you, it's not going to really soothe what you're feeling or thinking. I think the most important thing is to understand that these cycles are cycles. There's ups and downs, and if you've been through a few downs, you've been through a few ups as well. So you learn every time, and you need to learn fast. So study, put your head down, learn what positions you should be in and what you like.
Okay, and just quickly, people are scared to invest at times like this. Are you a fan of dollar cost averaging?
Yeah, for sure. If you can dollar cost average, I think that's always a wise thing to do. I mean, you've got to look and assess whether or not projects are still building and still going to be releasing stuff. a lot of these down cycles, especially when they're as aggressive and quick as these, sort of flush out a lot of businesses as well, even a lot of good ones. So the thing is, you've got to make sure that those businesses have products or are close to having products go to market. Otherwise, there's question marks, So it's very much an opportunity to sort of reflect and have a look at what you've got positions in and whether or not you want to put more in.
Okay, Benny, well, that's it for this week. But we better mention that there are a few comps on right now. You can win an RFOX avatar, and there's also an Oculus giveaway. We'll leave the details below. Thanks very much for joining, Benny. Great to see you again, and have a great week, mate. And thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, mate. Have a good week. See you.